Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a new Sacred Union energy update. It feels like it's been forever. It's only been a week, but I went away. I actually spent a week down in Chincoteague, Virginia. It was the most incredible, joyful, and peaceful experience I've had in a long time. I shared that story, a little bit about my trip over on the community tab, also on my Instagram and my Facebook. So if you guys want to see some cool pictures of wild ponies and just beautiful calming water, I shared some of my experience there. I will share more as it comes up. My vacation, I ended up wanting to bring down some work. I brought my writing with me. I brought some decks with me. But this was a vacation, God said, just for me. And it's been a long time since I've really done anything just for myself. And I know it's hard for me to even say that because I've been doing a lot of self-honoring lately. The trips over the summer that I took were more of spiritual lessons, integration, activations, things that I needed. This was the trip that I wanted, where I just allowed myself to sleep and eat good food and just go for walks and really nourish myself and regulate my nervous system, which had really been in a state of just heightened aggravation and stress and a lot of doing for others and taking care of others, and I'm really learning how to balance that out. It's been a very trying year, very trying time. And also healing my heart a little bit. As you guys know, it was a little bit difficult for me. I know it's been a little bit difficult for you guys as well. So I'm glad that we have this community here to support each other, and thank you guys so much. It's been, healing my own heart a little bit from some acceptance and some surrender that I've experienced as I move forward in my journey. So I will share as I am called to. There's some interesting stuff about the masculine energy that I received as well. I spent a lot of time just connecting to myself, to God. And like I said, just allowing my body to rest in a state where I am not stressed or needing to do something. I really allowed myself to surrender to the feminine energy and just be, and that felt really good. So we're going to be checking in on the energies right now. We have the equinox, we have the new moon in Libra coming up, Libra bringing in a lot more balance, especially when it comes to relationships. We got a glimpse of that in the Virgo channeling, or I should say the September channeling, over on the Patreon. I will have the pick a pile up this weekend. Like I said, I intended to do the reading while I was away, and I just did not get to it. Did not want to do anything but really just take naps and go for walks, go on a boat tour, see the wildlife, and just really nurture myself. It was just the trip that I needed. And yeah, potentially there might be some long-term trips there. That place just stole my heart. Being on the water like that, the serenity there. Yeah, we're gonna be seeing more of that place. Today's my birthday, and I feel so much love from everybody, and thank you guys so much for my phone blew up with family and friends, and you guys, your messages, your emails, your thoughtfulness just really made me feel so special. Birthdays are traditionally a little bit difficult for me, especially in the past 10 years or so. First with illness, then with this journey. It's been difficult, but I feel like, especially with this trip that I just took for myself, I'm kind of owning it. Oh my goodness. Holy cow. Okay, was not expecting that. I feel like there is a purpose for that and a metaphor for that. It's what I just kept getting as I was cleaning that up. I don't know if you guys saw that, but apparently the flame was touching the glass, or the glass got too hot and it broke. And what I kept hearing was diamonds are forged in fire. Diamonds are forged in fire. But if it's weaker, if it's just glass, then it breaks. And I feel like that's a metaphor. Like, it makes me want to cry. Like, God's coming in and, like, just supporting us so fully, supporting this energy so fully, just saying, like, you are a diamond. If things have been difficult, it's because it was for a purpose. It was for a purpose. There is nothing that is without reason. There is nothing that is without purpose if you shift your perspective to understand that. If you allow yourself to shift into consciousness to truly understand, you are the diamond. You are not the glass. The weaker energy, the glass, it breaks, it shatters in the fire. But you are that diamond that is forged instead. Wow. Okay. So that's funny that I was saying, what was I saying? I was saying that I'm owning my birthday now and I'm changing that for myself and really making it something special for myself. And it was funny because I was talking to one of my soul sisters. I ended up going for a drive with myself. You know, every year I really, since I was sick, I decided that I wanted to make my birthday something to celebrate, a celebration of life when I didn't think that I would see another birthday. And so for the past 10 years, that's exactly what I've been doing. When I was with my divine counterpart, it was wanting to spend time with him. But when we were in separation, that wasn't a possibility. You know, his silence, his withdrawal, his, separation, made me have to understand that I could find that joy for myself. And I feel like over the past couple of years, I've really done that. I was talking to a soul sister today, though, and I said, you know what? As much as I know that I can do that, I don't necessarily want to. I want somebody who is going to say, we're going to go for a drive, we're going to go for ice cream, we're going to go for a trip, I want somebody to take the lead. I know that I'm capable of taking the lead now, but I'm really desiring that partnership where I don't have to stay in that role, where somebody can take the lead for me. Somebody can step up and take action. And I discovered that when I was away. So I guess I'm going to talk about my trip. I discovered that when I was away. I ended up taking a boat tour around the island to see the wild horses. And when I booked, it was just by pure intuition. I had a couple of brochures the first night, and I ended up just selecting one by intuition. It felt good to me, so I booked. And when I got to the marina, I met the man who runs the tour. And he said to me, I usually cancel, he said, if it's just one person. He's like, but I pulled up and I saw your smile and I saw your excitement. And he's like, let's do this. Let's give you a private tour. And, I had to trust my intuition, and my intuition said, absolutely, let's do this. There was just so much excitement. We have to use discernment and be wary in this day and age, of course, especially being with a stranger on the open water. But everything about his energy felt good, and I felt like I could relax in my energy. And we chatted like we were old friends. Put me completely at ease. He was so affable, so kind, so knowledgeable. And it was just a really beautiful interaction. And it just really showed me what the masculine energy can be. Somebody who really takes the lead. Somebody who just allows me to surrender to the joy that I naturally feel or want to feel. Somebody who can hold space. So it was just a magical trip. It was my first time in a boat on the open water, more larger than a canoe, I should say. And it was amazing. And we saw the horses up close and personal. They were literally feet from the boat. We saw dolphins. We saw both herds, because there are two herds down there of wild horses. We saw more wildlife, gorgeous sunsets. It was beautiful. It was just amazing and magical, and it was manifested. It was manifested because I kept asking God to show me the magic of this beautiful world, God. Please show me the magic of this beautiful world. And God just brought it all out. Just brought it all out and just painted this beautiful landscape. And it was just magical. And we got along so well that he said, come out tomorrow night and tag along if I have another tour. Unfortunately, he ended up calling me the next night and saying that the people had booked a private tour, so I wasn't able to tag along. But I even appreciated that, the follow through, the calling, the communication. It's something that my soul has longed for and yearned for. It was funny. It was reminding me of, in all of my books, it's like, that's when I'm writing my characters, the of the opposite sex, the male leads, it's always somebody who is emotionally in tuned and expressive, and it's something that I really long for because it makes me feel safe to be emotionally in tuned and expressive, and just for somebody to be able to hold that space. And what I realized was, it wasn't this man. He was, you know, very kind and attractive and all that stuff, but it wasn't about him. If anything, I'm glad that I have a companion and a friend when I go down again to visit. But it wasn't about him. He's not like a romantic partner or anything. It was what he represented to me. I realized he represented my inner masculine, and how much I had healed my own inner masculine to feel safe and secure with somebody who could reflect that back to me, where I felt stable and I felt secure enough to be open and expressive and surrendered in my feminine energy, and more than that, allowing myself to receive. Because more than anything, after giving my entire life, I want to be able to bring that into balance, into receptivity, and receive. To have it be mutual, to have it be reciprocated, and to be able to open up and allow myself to feel safe and comfortable to be receiving, where there is no attack afterwards, where there is no wounds afterwards, where there is no devaluing. My whole life, I kind of felt like I wasn't deserving of receiving, because every time I received, then it felt like, or I was made to feel that somebody else deserved it more. It almost like it devalued whatever it was that I was receiving. And that's a wound that I have worked on throughout this ascension journey, to allow myself to open up and to just allow myself to fully receive and be led was really, really beautiful. And it wasn't like, I'm going to show you this, I'm going to show you that, like I'm going to control this. It was very open exchange. Where do you want to go tonight? Where do you want to, how would you like to see this? How would you like to see that? It was mutual exchange. It was being open to all ideas. It was that beautiful balance of masculine and feminine energy that we see in all of nature, not just in our sacred partnerships, but in all of nature. It was this trusting me to follow my intuition, and me trusting him to take the lead as the follow through, to ground that into reality. That was a beautiful, beautiful interaction. And it just showed me how much I had grown and transformed within my own balance, within my own sacred energy, within my own inner masculine and feminine, where I learned how to trust in the stability, structure, security, and presence, consistency of my inner masculine to show up. And that was being reflected back to me in this other person. It was really, really nice. Again, it's not the person. He was wonderful, but it wasn't the person. It was what he was representing to me in that moment, and what he showed me about myself. And that was, I can't even express that. I can't even tell you what magnitude that was. And it's this feeling of not being able to settle for less. Not being able to settle for less. And all my life, I had felt like I was too much for people, for wanting more. Like I was too much. Or like I was not enough. Like they were searching for something else that I wasn't or couldn't be. It was either one or the other extreme. And I really allowed myself, and I feel like I'm anchoring this in, it's very emotional. I finally allowed myself to realize that I am perfect as I am, with all of my flaws and all of my shadows, that I never discount. because I am a very flawed human being, and I have a lot of shadows that I have brought to light and understood now. But I am also beautiful and worthy. And for the first time, it's why I allow myself to post pictures of myself, beautiful inside and out. I never believed that about myself. I never posted pictures of myself before. And over the course of the past several years, I've been doing that more and more because I'm allowing myself to really see myself in a new light, inside and outside. Flaws and all. Shadows and all. And I just keep getting the word gift. It really feels like a beautiful gift of the divine, from the divine, to be able to embrace all aspects of myself. So today is my birthday, and I feel like this is the first day of the rest of my life. This is the first day of truly loving myself. You know, I always have been trying to love myself and honor myself and cherish myself, and I feel like I really finally anchored that in without apologies. Never apologizing for my existence anymore or for my feelings anymore and the depth of what I feel. I know I can be a very complicated person because I'm a very deep feeling person, always have been. But not apologizing for my sensitivity anymore, not apologizing for the depth of what I feel and how I choose to express that. Expressing the raw and the real. I've been talking to you guys about that for the past several weeks. It's been coming out in my channelings. How I want to share all of it. Not just the light and the love, but also the dark and the despair. Because how do you know love and light if you don't experience dark and despair? If you don't acknowledge it, if you don't understand it and allow it to alchemize, allow it to transmute, if you don't bring it up to the surface? I will never just show one part of myself. Ever. That is not who I am and not who I've ever been. And I feel like I'm claiming so much more of myself in this moment. This has been the most difficult journey of my life because I feel like I've lost so much. Yes, I lost old versions of myself. I also lost a lot in the physical world. Beginning with when I was sick, a lot of my life changed. But when I was activated to ascension, it changed even more. And in many ways, I lost my family. In many ways, I lost my counterpart and the family that was created there. And that is something that I still grieve. But I know that there's so much more in store. I know that there's so much more in store. And I don't know what life has in store for him and me and what we created there. That's where I've accepted and surrendered. But I'm allowing myself to embrace the energy of union, whatever that looks like. Whatever that looks like, as long as it is a match to me and this frequency, this vibration, and these values that I hold. As long as it honors myself and it honors the other person. I didn't get a lot of this journey right, so to speak. There were a lot of missteps along the way. I kept following my heart. It's not a logical journey. It is not a logical journey. We cannot apply logical practices to it. And I kept following my heart and following my intuition. But logically, there were a lot of missteps along the way. You know, I got a lot, quote unquote, wrong. Even though it wasn't wrong to the heart, it wasn't wrong to the intuition, it was wrong to the ego. But it's leading to a place of growth. Or it led to a place of growth. It led to a place of immense transformation. An immense activation, awakening, ascension. A huge shift within myself. And for me, and hopefully for the person who was my counterpart for so long, I still believe he's my twin. and I'll call them my counterpart, but I've really allowed myself to let go of the physical 3D of that. I hope that it leads all of us to happiness. And I believe it will. I believe it will. That is what I want most in this world. For so long, I've sacrificed my own happiness for other people. And I've realized that so much can coexist. It's not either or. It's not but. It's an and. It's an and. I can love myself and love another. I can honor myself and honor you. I can love you and let you go. Things can coexist simultaneously. That is the magical nature of this infinite universe. And it's difficult to our small and narrow-minded and conditioned minds. But I am so fully believing now that the heart knows the way, that the soul knows the way. And I really believe that God is guiding us home to each other in one way, shape, or form. God guides us home to each other, sacred counterparts. All right, before my ego takes over, let's get to this and just talk about, because there's one part of me that wants to be like, I don't know who that is, and one part of me that says, I do know who that is, and I'm just done with that. I'm just going to take whatever's presented to me at face value right now. That's the only thing that I can do. The ego does everything it can to protect against pain, and I'm still feeling a lot of pain, but I'm also feeling a lot of joy. And like I said, things can coexist. They exist equally. So I can feel pain from this situation and so much joy and love and hope and faith for my life. Things can coexist. I want to give a huge shout out to Diane, who is a community member here. She gave me a donation. There's a link in the description box and on my website and on my Instagram bio to buy some oracle decks, and we bought this one. There's another one that's on its way. I'm not going to use this. I'm going to get my energy into this first before we do a reading with this one, but this is one that was on my list, so thank you so much, Diane. I really, really appreciate it. I want to use the Work Your Light deck because I want to understand what is happening for both counterparts, kind of on a quantum level. So let's get into it. And thank you guys so much for hanging in there with me as I shared all of that. There's a lot. All right. I'm going to give this as the overall energy because it just came out. Awakening, energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. I feel like both of you are experiencing this in different ways. I feel like the masculine is kind of going through more of a physical awakening where they're experiencing lots of shifts in their physical world, in their physical way of being because of their physical or their spiritual and emotional way of thinking. So that's why their physical world is changing. We talked about this for the Divine Feminines last year with the Kali Ma energy, saying that there was a lot that was being deconstructed, or destroyed in the physical and changing the physical because you had reached a new frequency. You had shifted into a higher consciousness. And the old version of you, the old frequency, is what had manifested the present conditions for your life. But if you were going to shift into a new frequency, then your life has to look a little bit different to match the new frequency, right? So that could look like more abundance. It could look like a promotion. It could look like a higher level relationship. It could look like more commitment. But I don't want to use the word better because that puts it like on a status, but it's better. It's a higher frequency. And so your world naturally has to shift because otherwise you're just remaining stagnant energetically. We talked about that. I'll put that link in the description box if you guys missed it. But the masculine is going through a physical shift where they're leveling up within themselves, going through a massive ascension. It's not just an awakening, although there are many layers of awakening. This feels like more of like an emotional awakening. But they're experiencing a lot within their physical world, a lot of changes within their physical world. Divine Feminines, you are getting a lot of upgrades. This feels like intuitive hits, downloads, opening up your crown even more, connecting with galactics is what they're bringing in. Maybe even more, how do I put this? They're dragons, unicorns, things like that. More on that level, more energy on that level, more ascended masters, that kind of thing. You're getting upgraded spiritually. Even more. Your crown is opening up even more. So you're both experiencing higher level ascension, higher level awakening, but it's being experienced in a different way. Divine Feminines, I'm also getting the energy of you are integrating. So if you've been feeling this for a while, getting upgrades for a while, then you're really integrating this so that it's more organic, that it feels more natural. You don't have to, it's not as hard to tap into, or should I say it doesn't take effort to tap into. This is just who you are now. This is, and we talked about this a number of years ago, where it's like you are just naturally a divine channel. You are naturally opened up to your gifts. You are naturally a intuitive person, or a feeling person, or you're heart-centered. It's just whatever that gift is coming very natural to you because you're integrating it. So this is the upgrade that you're experiencing. It's the integration. Okay, yeah, this feels more like the masculine. I want to get a good shuffle first. These cards really want to come out tonight. Okay, tell me about the Divine Masculine, please. The card was the Crumbling, which was the Tower energy. But let's see anything for the masculine. Council of Light, divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realms. They are being very, very spiritually supported as they are going through this. As they're going through this ascension, they're being very spiritually supported as that tower is crumbling. And the tower is what they had built their foundation on before. It wasn't a firm foundation. It wasn't a foundation of love. They might have thought it was love, but it was love with conditions. It was love with control. It was love with force. It was distorted love based on the old template of what the masculine was. The wounded masculine, the distorted masculine. And so what's happening is that that tower had to fall, the tower had to crumble, and that has been a process. And now they're rebuilding. So this feels like the rebuilding phase. The tower had already crumbled. They've already been through that. This feels like the rebuilding phase where they're setting that new foundation and they're being supported. I'm really feeling like there's a energy of guidance that's coming through. I want to pull that card that popped out because they're showing me the image and they're saying this is where you are now. The tower is being rebuilt. I'm hearing it's almost at the completion stage. So I'm not quite sure what that means, but it's almost at the completion stage. So this could be, they've been working on their physical world. They've been working on themselves. They've been understanding themselves, bringing to new awareness to them. But what I'm getting is this. So it's almost like the old had to crumble and they rebuilt that foundation. And now it's much more sturdy, but it's not just that. It's this. They've built a new world for themselves internally. And look at how it's just flourishing with nature. I'm hearing natural energy with rivers and streams and flowers and beauty. This is natural beauty. This is their natural beauty. The old tower was very desolate. It was very, I'm just getting the word distorted. So it was barren. It was a barren landscape within them. And that's where it was like almost like a void. That's where they used addiction. That's where they used old habits. That's where they used spiritual ego. That's where they used old perceptions, distorted energy to fill up that void. They could have used other relationships to try to fill up that void, and it just didn't work. When you came onto the scene, Divine Feminines, you ignited something within them, just as they ignited something within you. You were activated to ascension. You were understanding that there is more. And it's the depth of that feeling, that soul feeling, that there's more. There's more to life. There's more to love. There's more to relationship. There's more to connection. That's what they've been tapping into and understanding. Because before it had been a void that they were trying to fill with all these things. And they understand now that it's your connection together that creates this love, that creates this beautiful new landscape. And so they've been building that tower. And what's coming from that is, it's like a much firmer foundation. And look at all this energy around this lightning. But that lightning is energy. It's power. It's divine power, not the corrupt power, not manipulative power, not controlling power. This is their own inner authority. This is their own sovereignty. This is their own inner power. They're showing me the lion energy, the Leo energy, which has been with us since I think about July. That Leo energy has really been prominent in these readings. It's that sense of inner power and inner authority, like I said, but it's also a sense of confidence and pride. Now, not pride of the ego, not arrogance. It is confidence. There's a difference. And they're beginning to really understand that difference. And this feels like their inner world, which is flourishing and growing, especially emotionally. And they're being supported through this. They're being guided, maybe even receiving intuitive hits. What I'm hearing is this is what your next step is. And so they're allowing themselves to receive that, trust that intuition, because that's their intuition, that's their inner feminine energy that they're trusting. They're taking that now and taking action, which is what the masculine does. The masculine is very logical, rational, and practical, which is beautiful. But they learn how to balance it out with their own intuition, with their own inner wisdom. The masculine energy is incredibly, incredibly wise. Again, Merlin, King Arthur energy coming in. Maybe we should be using this deck. Incredibly, incredibly wise. But they also take action on that energy. Just like you, Divine Feminine, you had to balance out your inner masculine. You're receiving your intuition, and now rather than waiting for somebody to take action for you, you're allowing yourself to trust your inner masculine, and you're taking action for yourself. Maybe you built a business. Maybe you built a home life. Maybe you ended or started a relationship. Whatever this is, it's your own inner masculine and balance with itself, with your feminine energy. Same that's happening here. That's what this is flourishing. This is the two sides being drawn together, building a firm foundation. And what you have where the void was is the sacred union. And they're being guided as this is really grounding itself. It's anchoring in. Their sacred union is anchoring in. Wow, I did not expect that. Gotta be honest. I did not expect that. Divine Feminine, you have Star Mother. How can you mother yourself? Interesting, because Kuan Yin and Mother Mary have both been coming through recently for me. I do want to still do the Kuan Yin channeling. Stay tuned for that. Probably sometime in October that'll happen. But Mother Mary as well, and that's what I'm getting from this. It's that love, it's that compassion. Are you giving yourself that love? Are you giving yourself that compassion? Are you nurturing yourself? Nurturing yourself does not mean selfishness. And that's where we have been conditioned to believe. It's selfish. It's selfish to love ourselves. It's selfish to nurture ourselves. I have to make apologies for the way I spend my money, or the way that I take care of myself, or the way that I honor myself, or the way that I look. You know, the feminine energy has made apologies for themselves because of that suppression for centuries. No more. No more apologizing for who you are. Treat yourself as if you are your own daughter. Treat yourself as if you are your own mother. Love yourself so incredibly deeply. I'm also going to take this, the inner temple. This is where you honor yourself. You honor the heart within. You go within yourself. It says, tune into the portal of your heart. That is your higher heart. That is your heart center. That is the generator of all energy within you, that higher heart. That is where you honor yourself and heal yourself and connect deeply to yourself, to the soul of yourself, to the truth of yourself. That is where you are authentically you. And that is what has been coming out more and more and more along this journey. You're stripping away anything that is other people's judgments, other people's decisions, expectations, and just allowing yourself to be you. I've shared a lot. Part of the reason why I was so afraid of posting my own picture and stuff for years was because I felt such shame. Shame around my body, number one, since I was sick, and shame around just even who I was. It was like I want to be seen, but I'm also afraid of being seen. I want to shine my light, but I was always afraid of my light. It wasn't that I was afraid of my own light. I was afraid of the judgment. I was afraid of what people would say, because for so long, people would ask me to quiet down or not be so sensitive or not be so emotional or to just dim my light a little bit because it might have been too bright. And that leaves its scars on the heart. Because all you want to do is just be you and shine brightly. It's not being seen as in, standing in the spotlight. It's being seen as in being deeply understood. And that comes with connecting. And connecting comes with a level of vulnerability and intimacy. Allowing yourself to be open. But that's scary too, because that means you have to risk rejection. Again, you're too much. You're not enough. You should be ashamed. You should quiet down. You should whatever. Everybody has that one critique or criticism that they heard growing up, whether from a parent figure or an authority figure or from a classmate or a friend or a stranger. Everybody has that one thing that just dug its wound into you. And it made you grow smaller. It made you dim your light. No more. No more, Ascension says. No more. We heal that with love. We honor each other. We love each other more, not less. We fill those wounds up with love and acknowledgement for each other and for ourselves. We reach into the core of who we are, and we allow ourselves to understand ourselves. And that's where we begin to understand each other. That's where we begin to honor each other and recognize that oneness with each other. To know yourself is everything. It is the start of your journey. It is the depth of your journey. There's that saying that a candle doesn't lose any light by lighting another candle, or however that goes. You guys can correct me. But it's the metaphor. It's just because you are shining doesn't mean that the other candle is dim. This is how we light the world. By allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, take that risk and be intimate with ourselves, with each other, to express the heart of ourselves, to express our emotions, to express our love, to express who we are at our core level, to allow ourselves to be seen and heard, even if it's scary. I never imagined that I would be sharing my heart on YouTube for hundreds and thousands of people. Yet here we are. Here we are. God guided me to this. But it's about more. It's not about the spotlight, so to speak. It's about allowing yourself to share your heart, however that looks like for you individually. For me, it's jumping on and doing videos and readings and speaking engagements and my writings. That's how I share my heart and the soul of myself. For others, it is sitting next to a hospital bed holding a hand. For others yet, it is helping to feed the homeless, sitting in the very heart of despair. For others, it is standing on an altar and speaking. For others, it's just compassion and grace and forgiveness in everyday occurrences. It looks different for everybody because everybody is different, but the core is the same. It's allowing ourselves to understand ourselves and allowing ourselves to understand each other. And allowing ourselves to open our heart and not be afraid to do so. All right, let's get some tarot here. Where are we on time? Okay, let's get some tarot here, and then we're going to close out. I'm going to use just one deck tonight because I wasn't really anticipating this kind of reading. But here we are, as usual. Almost forgotten how to do this. How is the Divine Masculine feeling about the connection? Let's get a little bit intimate now. How's the Divine Masculine feeling about the connection? How's the Divine Masculine feeling about the connection? There's a little bit of a sense of heartache here. I think he's missing his Divine Feminine. How's the Divine Masculine feeling about the Divine Feminine or the connection? Yeah. The Divine Masculine has been putting in the work, has been really focused on themselves, and I really feel like their material world, again, that physical energy coming through, really working on building up their physical world. This could be building up their finances, new job, this could be their relationships, whatever this is, really working on themselves and being a better version of themselves. That's what you've done, Divine Feminine. You've challenged them, just like they've challenged you to grow and transcend all of that old energy. You've done the same for them. That is the crux of this connection. That's the beauty of this connection, if you guys allow yourselves to see it that way. If you allow yourselves to see that everything is supporting you rather than the lack. And that's something that came through as well. It's like your union is here. It's always been here. But don't look at the lack, look at the support. Everything is supporting your union coming together. So I feel like your masculine, there feels like this sense of nostalgia coming through. I feel like your masculine is thinking about you, missing you, really feeling intuitively with regards to you, really tuning into you, tuning into your energy as well. Not clinging to your energy. That's the old distorted masculine, but just you feel like home to them. I had an experience on my drive back where the energy of my counterpart came in and we were yelling at each other, having conversation. I don't know if this was just in my own mind or telepathically, but I don't know. We were having a conversation, as usually happens. And there's a lot that was coming up to the surface to be cleared. But then what happened was I just saw him drop to his knees. And it was like I saw him in my mind, obviously, in my mind, in my third eye. He was in tears. And the emotional vulnerability there brought me to tears. And it opened me up to so much love again. And that's how I feel. You know, the physical doesn't reflect that. The physical is quite hard for me right now. But the energy that I still feel with regards to this connection, so I go back and forth. My ego is like trying to protect me from the pain of the past and the patterns that kept recycling within our connection. But my heart truly still feels the connection. And in my mind, my third eye, when I saw him just opening up vulnerably and emotionally, it's like, this is all I ever wanted. And I was saying to him, just open your heart to me. Just open your heart to me. Just because all I've ever done is rip open my heart for you. I had done a soul saying a couple of weeks ago or months ago where it was the one that says, I want what's real. And what I said is, I'm going to read it to you guys because it feels appropriate. You know, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it in time. I don't want to waste your time. Bear with me just a moment. Okay, I was way too deep into searching for this thing. I was not going to give up. So I finally found it. It's going to be in a book of sacred writings and poetry that I am releasing later towards the end of the year. So I'm going to read it to you now. What do I want? I want what's real. I want what's honest and authentic, what you're sheltering beneath the mask you've so carefully crafted that even you don't realize you've been wearing one all along. I want to see what's in the secret corners of your heart that you've kept locked away for so long, collecting scars and covered in cobwebs from a lifetime of neglect. Tell me everything you feel. Tell me everything that's real. Tell me with an honesty that makes you shiver and tremble and surrender on your knees. I'll be here and surrender beside you. I want you to hand me your heart, not knowing what I'll do with it. I'll treasure it. I'll put it in my chest so you are never sad and never alone, and the scars begin to heal and the cobwebs are cleared away. I'll take my own heart and place it in your hands as the symbol of trust we both need. Every night when I close my eyes, I'll place my hands upon my chest just to feel your cherished heartbeat. I'll say a tender prayer in sacred rhythm. You are held, you are safe, you are loved. So that's only part of the poem. And I do already have that posted on TikTok if you guys want to check that out. It's also on Instagram Reels as a soul saying. But that's the energy here. That's what was coming through. That's what I was saying to him. Open your heart. Rip your heart from your chest and take that risk. Be vulnerable and intimate with me no matter how hard it is, because I have done the same with you and I will keep doing the same with you. It was this energy of let us just love each other in the sacredness, honoring each other, trusting each other, and loving each other so deeply. That's what's required. It's that kind of level of trust. And that's what we fear, especially as humans. We fear opening up ourselves to each other. We fear being seen. But you see each other, divine counterparts. You truly see each other. And sometimes that's what we run from. So it was very emotional. And as soon as I saw him on his knees and feeling those emotions and expressing that love and those emotions, my heart just surrendered. And that was the surrender of the feminine to the masculine providing that safe space, and the feminine doing the same. The feminine does the same. She provides that safe space for the masculine as well. That is what this love is about. It was powerful, and I bring that up because I feel that sense of intimacy, that desire for intimacy coming through here, the desire for expression, that desire for emotion coming through here. Now we have the Star, we have the Seven of Cups, and we have the Knight of Wands, and I do feel like there's a little bit of confusion here as far as how do I do this? I've never done this in my life. This is my deepest desire, is to open myself up, to bare my heart and soul. But how do I do this? How do I come forward? And so I feel like there might be some action. It might be a little bit, what's the word? Impetuous? No, not quite. Impulsive. It might be a little bit impulsive. Divine Feminine, be stable within yourself, because this might be a little bit impulsive. I'm also hearing the word clumsy. It might be a little bit clumsy, but that's only because the desire is so deep and they've never experienced this before. There's a little bit of confusion around this. How do I do this? How do I open up my heart? I just want to get a little bit more for the Divine Masculine before we move on to the Feminine. A little bit more for the Divine Masculine, please. A little bit more for the Divine Masculine. Tell me more for the Divine Masculine, please. Yeah. Five of Pentacles, they are tired of that being left out in the cold. They're tired of rejecting that which they love. It's interesting. They're recognizing that by rejecting what they loved, by rejecting this connection, their divine feminine, they left themselves out in the cold. They're recognizing that they did this to themselves. They pushed love away. They pushed the connection away. They're recognizing that they only put themselves out in the cold. This is a high level of awareness that's coming in for the masculine. They're taking ownership. They're taking responsibility of the choices and actions that they made that played a part in their life and led to where their life perhaps is even now. They don't want this anymore. A long time ago, we channeled the phrase coming in from the cold, and that's what I'm feeling now. They want to come in from the cold because they're recognizing where they rejected themselves by rejecting the connection. Oh my gosh, you guys, this literally flew across the room. It is the Fool and the King of Swords. They want to speak their truth. They want to stand up as that leader of the connection. Now, this is not controlling the connection. This is the masculine energy. It's this energy. Oh God, please let me have it. Please let me have it. Here is one of the top cards. It is this Lover's card energy of the masculine supporting, uplifting, honoring, and cherishing the feminine energy. This is the power and the strength of the masculine when he is in his divinity, when he is in his conscious masculine state, when he is in his higher state of embodiment. He uplifts, empowers, and supports the divine feminine. It is the most beautiful representation of the balance of masculine and feminine energy I've ever seen. It's my favorite card in all of tarot. This is sacred union. This is the masculine energy lifting up with his power and his strength and his grace and his wisdom and his leadership, lifting up the feminine so that she can receive. And not only does she receive, but she receives and lets that energy flow to her masculine. It's a beautiful, powerful depiction here. Masculine wants to start fresh in this connection, wants to bring this energy into this connection where it was neglected before, where it was rejected before, where it was pushed away before. He wants to start fresh. He wants to start new. And he wants to take this risk of opening up his heart and speaking his truth. All right, Divine Feminine, how are you feeling about your masculine or the connection? Divine Feminines, Eight of Cups, King of Wands, and the Chariot. You recognize that you had to walk away from the connection and the unhealthy energy of this. I'm also getting that you might have been pushed to walk away. That's what this connection, that's what this energy was, this Five of Pentacles. You were neglected, you were rejected, you were left out in the cold. You were forced to walk away because you know that you weren't being honored. You know that you weren't being valued to your fullness, to what you deserve. And even what you desire. Remember in the beginning I was saying making no apologies for yourself and what it is that you want, what it is that you desire, what it is that you yearn for. Making no apologies for yourself, never being too much. You're not too much. That's this energy. It's you recognize that you were not being honored as you should have been. And so that's where you walked away. And it's like, this is your own masculine. This is your own inner masculine that you had to recognize within yourself, your own stability, your own consistency, your own honoring of yourself. You learned how to balance out your masculine and feminine energies. You learned how to take the lead for your life. And now you are ready to bring in a partner who is able to do the same. But you had to learn this about yourself first. You had to anchor this in about yourself first. You had to anchor in your own inner union. Tell me more about the Divine Feminine. Tell me more about the Divine Feminine. Tell me more about the Divine... Oh. Tell me more about the Divine Feminine, please. Tell me more about the Divine Feminine. coming in very, very quickly. And I feel like it's because you're releasing that attachment. The more you release the attachment to who, what, where, when, what, why, the more you just allow the love to flow. I'm getting devil energy in reverse. The more that you release the attachment, the more it comes in quickly, because you're filling up your cup and you're not needing the attachment to fill up your cup for you. You're not needing the attachment to fill anything within yourself. You have that all. That's what you learned here. Tell me a little bit more. What I'm getting is this is the reverse of the Lovers. So because you are releasing that attachment and not chaining yourself to that expectation, you're not chaining yourself to that need, you're not chaining yourself, you're allowing yourself to flow with your own joy, with your own soul essence, with your own God energy. You're not chaining yourself, and that is when the Lovers comes in. That's when the energy of the Lovers comes in. Yeah. See, you have the Ace of Swords and the Empress to clarify this, because you're in Empress energy, because you are standing tall in your truth. It's releasing the attachment. That's when the Lovers energy comes in. Anything else that we need to know for these counterparts? Releasing the heaviness of the journey, releasing the burdens and the wounds that you were carrying, and allowing this rebirth to take place. Rebirth within yourself, perhaps even rebirth within the connection. Two of Cups at the bottom of the deck. And the Sun, happily ever after. It is coming in with the Knight of Pentacles, because you have been healing your wounds, surrendering, resting, being, and working on yourself, trusting your intuition, trusting that the wheel is turning, allowing your perspective to shift around your sacred union, around yourself. Because of all this change and all this transformation, so much is shifting and aligning energetically, and you're going to be seeing that shifting and aligning in your physical experience. We're going to have more on that to come. I'm going to do another Sacred Union energy update, perhaps even this weekend. We'll see. But I do want to get more about what is going on with these counterparts in the physical experience, and how does that relate? How are things shifting in the physical connection, communication, action, that kind of thing. We're going to get more on that, so make sure that you stay tuned. I think we're going to end this here. This feels like big transformation that's taking place. All right, you guys, I am sending you so much love and so much light, and we'll see you next time. Bye.